Alright, so I recently did a 11 questions tag video, and a lot of you said that you wanted to hear more about my thoughts and ideas on being prepared for different situations. And so tonight I'm going to go through some items that I always keep on my nightstand, and these are the things that help me sleep at night. So stay tuned. Alright, so I really only have two mindsets when it comes to preparedness and disasters that might happen. And number one is what's going to keep me as comfortable as possible, and number two is what's going to give me an advantage over everyone else, what's going to make me far more ready than anybody else. And so when it comes to what I keep on my nightstand, that's the mindset I have, is what's going to give me those advantages that the people intruding aren't going to have. And so if we're talking about an intruder, the advantage that not only I have, but we all have, is this is our home, right? This is my house. I've lived here. I know where everything is because I've put it there, right? I know where my furniture is. I know all the bedrooms, all the windows, all the hiding spots. I know the layout of my house. Plus, I've practiced sweeping my house without leaving my back vulnerable. I've played hide and seek with my 5-year-old son, and between me, Caroline, and my son playing hide and seek, I've pretty much learned all of the hiding spots in this house. And so that's a huge advantage that you have, because not only do I know where all the hiding spots are, I know what hiding spots I fit in, right? There's a lot of places that my son can hide that I can't because I'm much bigger than he is, and I know that. But another thing that I always keep in mind is Caroline has a friend in law enforcement, and one of his very first arrests, he was going after somebody and they broke into a house, and they went in the house after him, and him being new and being trained, he heard a noise in the laundry room. And so you're taught, if you hear something, you go and you investigate it, you know. Where I think a lot of veteran police officers would have just been like, oh, it's the washer or dryer, you know, like they would have put it off. But him being new, you know, he heard it, he knew he had to investigate it. He went in there, and when he opened the dryer, the person that they were after was hiding inside the person's dryer. And so a lot of spots that you wouldn't consider hiding spots, you got to make sure that you keep those in mind, because the people that are usually breaking in, the drugs and lifestyle that they usually choose makes them a lot smaller than the average person. And when they're looking at prison time, you know, they'd rather spend hours cooped up in a very uncomfortable situation than spend years in prison. And so keep that in mind. I'm glad he shared that story with her, and I'm glad she shared it with me, because I really keep that mindset. I know that these people, you know, just because I don't fit there and my son does, these people might cram themselves into those locations. So everywhere he hides is still a threat in my mind if it comes to a home invasion. Another thing is, if I need to hide, I know in each room a spot that can conceal me, and they're not going to know to look there. So that's a big advantage I have and you have over anybody else. Okay, and so now moving on to more of the items. A lot of people feel that having a good firearm next to their bed is a good idea because it gives them an advantage. To me, a firearm isn't so much of an advantage as it is just evening the playing field, right? When these person or people break into your house, you don't know what their intentions are. You don't know if they're armed. You don't know anything. You don't know. A lot of times you don't even know if it's a single person or multiple people. And so the firearm is just, it evens out the playing field. It doesn't really, I don't really see it as an advantage. It can be an advantage if they're not armed, but for me and my mindset, not knowing, to me it just evens everything out. But what does give me an advantage is I keep a headlamp on my nightstand. This stays in my nightstand at all times, and I chose this one specific because it has a lens. So I don't remember what brand this is. I've had this thing for a long time, but it's got this red lens that just flips up and down, and so I keep it flipped up on red. And the reason I chose red is because red doesn't interfere with your night adjusted vision. So you know when your eyes adjust to the dark and then you can see, but then you turn on a flashlight or you turn the light on and then you turn it off and then you can't see in the dark anymore. This eliminates that. It makes it so that if I were to turn this light off, I wouldn't be just completely blinded, and it takes much less time for my eyes to adjust back to the dark. And the reason that's important to me is because if I have to hide, okay, I can turn that light off and I'm not blind. I can still see in the dark. I can still hide. I'm not shining light. I'm not anything. And so the red helps me stay with an advantage. It's not going to blind me. It's not going to blind. And it's going to keep my night adjusted vision so that I'm not messing around with hiding and not being able to see. Second, I can just turn it on, right? Having it always on red, I don't have to sit and try to remember modes or double click for red, or I just turn it on, right? Because a lot of us, we're worthless without our morning coffee, right? For me, it's Mountain Dew. When I wake up, I need that morning Mountain Dew, or my brain doesn't work. And so for me to have something as easy as push the button, turn it on, and it's set exactly where I want it, that's an advantage also in my opinion. And then if I do want to use the white light to, let's say, blind the intruder, I can just flip this down, and having it a headlamp, it's already at eye level. If you've been sitting around camp with a bunch of people with headlights or headlamps on, you're gonna hear a lot. Oh, my bad, because it's hard not to shine your headlamp into people's eyes, because your natural reaction is to make eye contact, and you end up blinding the person around camp. And so it's gonna be a lot easier for me to blind the person with the white light than with a flashlight and trying to aim that. Also, a lot of people, they carry a flashlight and then it's pointed straight and then they're looking into the dark. With a headlamp on, I can have my firearm pointed straight, and anywhere I look is going to be lit up. And I don't have to think about it. It's going to automatically do it with this headlamp. And so there's a lot of advantages by sleeping with a headlamp next to your bed or on your nightstand. And then the other thing that just gives me a huge advantage is I always sleep with my Howard's Light ear protection. Now this is noise canceling ear protection, which means it has built-in microphones. So in a standard set of ear protection, you put it on, you shoot, and then you take them off so that you can talk and you can still hear what's going on around you. Well, these have built-in microphones with noise cancellation. And so I can have these on, and I can actually hear better with these on than without them, because I can crank the volume up, I can max it out, and I can hear better. It amplifies everything. So now I can hear if they're talking to each other. I now know that I might not be able to hear exactly what they're saying, especially if they're whispering, but I now know that there's more than one. And if I can hear, then when I go, you guys go that way, I'll go this way, I now know that there's more than two, right? So this is giving me a huge advantage because it's heightening my hearing. Another thing is if gunshots are fired, it's going to noise cancel, it's going to be fine. My hearing is still going to be enhanced, and all their ears are going to be ringing. They're not going to be able to hear at all, and I'm still going to have enhanced hearing. And so this, I think, is huge. This is this is one of the best things I think you could have next to your bed, because like I said, it's giving you the advantage of being able to hear better. You're going to be able to hear the creaks and the cracks of them walking around a lot better. You're going to be able to hear the whispers if they're whispering to each other a lot better. You're going to be able to keep that enhanced hearing if gunshots are fired, because it's going to cancel out. It's going to protect your hearing. And so while everybody else is disoriented and their ears are ringing, you still have enhanced hearing. You don't have that ringing in your head. Everything, you still have every advantage you had before the fires. And so yeah, I think this is a huge advantage, and I keep this on my nightstand as well. And then that's kind of my home invasion system right there. It gives me, I feel, all the advantages in the world. I now have the ability to see in any condition. I now have the ability to hear in any condition. Not only can I just hear, but I have enhanced hearing. And I can level the playing field with my weapon. And I just feel like this is a very good system. And it's not a lot of things. It's 3 things. It doesn't take up a lot of space on the nightstand. But I'm ready if I do need to use this. And then in the beginning, I showed you this. And what this is another concern of mine is waking up in the middle of the night with fire. You forget to shut the gas stove off, or you forget the oven on, or just there's a fire for some reason. You forget to blow out some candles. What this is it's a fire mask. And so on the inside here you have gloves, because doorknobs and everything are going to be really hot where there's fire. And then it's a hood. So it's a smoke mask, and it's just a hood. You just put it over your head, and then it seals around your neck. So again, not much thought has to go into this. I don't have to worry about getting a tight seal. I don't have to worry about sticking anything. I don't have to worry about anything. All I got to do is put it on my head, Velcro it around my neck, put the gloves on, and then I still have that headlamp. And so I can put this on, and it's just kind of a foil hood. I can put my headlamp on. Now I can breathe, I can see, I can get Caroline out of the house, I can get my son out of the house. I can do everything I need to do with light, this mask, and these gloves. And so it gives me the advantage of being able to see, because this is a sealed hood. And then the light, I can see, I can breathe without having to breathe in all that smoke. So I'm able to, I don't have to crawl to get my son to stay under the smoke. I can just get to him, get him down, get Caroline, and get the heck out of here. And so by having this, again, I have an advantage that most people don't. I don't need an advantage against somebody, but I do have an advantage by having this, because it gives me the opportunity to breathe, and it gives me the opportunity to see, and I have the upper hand. I have the ability to do what needs to be done to save myself and my family. And so with that being said, I want to know, what helps you sleep at night? What gear do you keep on your nightstand that helps it give you the upper hand in emergency situations? Make sure to leave any knowledge or questions in that comment section. Then make sure to like and share this video to help spread that knowledge and those ideas to the people we care about most. And as always, don't forget to subscribe and come join the pack. I have a new video every Sunday and Thursday, and I can't wait to see you on the next one.